Hey folks, it's Wicklow and it's New Book Tuesday. So today is August 3rd and a whole bunch of books got released today. A lot of YA teen books got released today, but as always we're going to start off with the middle grade books. Today, the first one is going to be called Plentiful Darkness. It is by Heather Castanier and it is supposedly just a standalone book, but it already looks beautiful. Like, I'm always a sucker for covers, and that's giving me my vibes. In order to survive on her own, 12-year-old Rooney DeBarra collects precious moonlight, which she draws from the evening sky with her very rare and most magical lunar mirror. All the while, she tries to avoid the rival roughhouse boys and yet another more terrifying danger, the dreaded thing that is kidnapping children in the middle of the night. When Trick Aiden, the worst of the roughhouse boys, steals her lunar mirror, Rooney will do whatever it takes to get it back, even if it means leaping into a pool of darkness after it swallows Trick in her mirror, or braving the plentiful darkness, a bewitching world devoid of sky and stars, or begrudgingly teaming up with Trick to confront the magician and unravel the magic that has trapped the wary-boned children. So, this already has very gothic kind of got a fight magician, dark side vibes that I've already loved, so that one's 100% getting added to my TBR list. The next book that we're going to be reviewing that got released today is Ava Evergreen and the Cursed Witch. This is actually the sequel in that Evergreen series, and I haven't actually read the first one yet, but I know that this was definitely already on my TBR list because I'm also a sucker for witches, and ever since I was a little girl I wanted to be one, so I'm already hooked. Ava Evergreen has fulfilled her dream of earning the rank of novice witch and discovering the chilling truth behind the mysterious culling. The violent magical storm wreaking havoc across Reveal-Ream. Revealing the truth, however, proves to be a difficult task, and soon the culprit is at large. To make matters worse, Eva learns that her own mother might be having a strange connection to the culling and rogue magic. With her spirits at an all-time low, Eva must muster up the courage to prove her mother's innocence and learn to believe in her own magic if she ever wishes to stop the culling once and for all. This already seems like a good book series, so the fact that I've probably spoiled some things for myself is kind of worth it. Oh my goodness, it says it's perfect for fans of Kiki's Delivery Service, and I was like, I'm kind of getting that vibe from it, but if she had went to school, yeah, I don't care that I spoiled it for myself probably, but I'm definitely going to read this. Next, the last middle grade book we actually have for today is The Manatee's Best Friend. Now, I'm going to be real, I don't typically like books that have like animals as the main storyline. I just never got into them when I was a kid, so depending on how the synopsis goes, I might like it, or I might just be like, hey, this is up for like anyone who likes that kind of thing. So it follows a young girl. Becca Wong Walker may be so shy that most people at her school don't think she speaks at all, but why should she care? She has more important things to worry about. Missy the manatee, who has always been her best friend and usually always visits the dock in Becca's backyard, has been gone for a long time. When Missy finally does return, she has a new baby with her. Becca wants to be excited, but more than ever, inconsiderate boaters are speeding through the river, putting the lives of Missy and her baby in terrible danger. One day, Becca spots a dolphin in the river, too. By bonding over the dolphin and manatee, Becca finally starts to make friends at school. But when Becca takes a video that goes viral, it seems it will be harder than ever to save the manatees, and trying might just tear Becca's new friendship apart. Oh. This kind of seems good, though. Because there's dolphins and there's manatees. This is actually potentially going on my TBR. This sounds kind of cute. Okay. You know what? Surprised myself there. Next, we're going to be talking our teen and YA section releases. And when I tell you there was a lot released today, there was a lot released today. I think there's like over 10 books that got released today. First, we're going to start off with Fresh. Fresh is by Margaret Wood. This book is considered LGBTQ plus romance and a little bit contemporary. for the genre, so if all of those hit your boxes, you might like this, especially once I read the synopsis. Some students enter their freshman year of college knowing exactly what they want to do with their lives. Elliot McHugh is not one of those people. Thanks. But picking a major is the last thing on Elliot's mind when she's too busy experiencing all that college has to offer, from dancing all night at off-campus parties, to testing her RA Rose's patience, to making new friends or having the best sex one can have on a twin-size dorm room bed. But she may not be ready for the fallout when reality hits, when the sex she was having isn't that great, when finals creep up and smack her right in the face, or when her roommate's boyfriend turns out to be the biggest a-hole. Elliot may make epic mistakes, but if she's honest with herself and with you, dear reader, she may just find the person she wants to be. And maybe even fall in love in the process. Well, maybe, it says. Oh my goodness, this sounds so cute. See, I'm really appreciating the more college books that we're getting because they're like new adult, but sometimes it's nice just to offer like, because there's late teens who's like 18, 19, and they want to hear about their own experiences, like freshmen in college, and they're like, hey, I'm still 18, I don't want to hear about teens in high school, but I want to read about my own experiences in college and university. And this is definitely one of those ones that are going to hit off right off the mark, and definitely getting added to my TBR list. The next book we're going to be talking about is Mercury Boys. It is by Sandra Prasad. I literally had to Google those names because I hate mispronouncing names. I literally have one of those names that people mispronounce all the time. Anyway, Mercury Boys is a young adult contemporary historical fiction with a slight like sci-fi time traveler twist on it. After her life is upended by divorce and a cross-country move, 16-year-old Saskia Brown feels like an outsider at her new school. Not only is she a transplant, she's biracial in a population of mostly white students. One day while visiting her only friend at her part-time library job, Saskia encounters a vial of liquid mercury from a modern-day photograph that makes a startling discovery. She is somehow able to visit the man in the portrait, a brilliant young inventor from the 19th century. The hitch, she could only see him in her dreams. She shares her revelation with some classmates, hoping to find connection and friendship among strangers. Under her guidance, the other girls steal portraits of young men from a local college collection and try the dangerous experiment for themselves. Soon they each form a bond with their own Mercury Boys, from an injured Union soldier to a pickpocket in New York City. At night, the girls visit the boys in their dreams. During the day, they hold meetings of their new secret society. At first, the Mercury Boys Club is a thrilling diversion from their troubled everyday lives, but it is not long before jealousy, violence, and secrets threaten everything the girls hold dear. Okay, I thought this book was literally just going to be like, I actually don't know what I thought this book was going to be, but this is going 100% on my TBR list. This sounds so interesting. Ooh, this sounds amazing. The next book we're going to be talking about is The Dark Way Down by Chelsea Achasso. A gripping new psychological thriller, so already, thriller, mystery, young adult, hitting all of those boxes, we love it. Piper Sullivan never should have been at suicide point the day she fell. Her older sister Savannah knows this with all of her heart, just as she knows that Piper's accident was entirely her fault. Savannah did something awful, something she can barely stand to think about, and now Piper is in a coma. But just as Savannah's guilt threatens to swallow her whole, she finds something strange in Piper's locker, a note inviting Piper to a meeting of her school's wilderness club at the very place and on the very day she fell, which means there's a chance Piper wasn't alone. Maybe it isn't Savannah's fault after all. Someone in the club might know what really happened, someone might have done something, but why? And if Savannah wants to find out the truth about that tragic day, she'll have to join the club on their weekend-long camping trip on the very same mountain where her sister fell. And with everyone in the club a suspect, she'll need to be careful or she might follow her sister into the dark. Ooh. Okay, my TBR is already like a mile long, and this might be the worst kind of series to start, especially if I keep adding more and more onto it, because I want to read this now. The next book we're going to be speaking about is The Perfect Place to Die. So if you notice that star right beside it, it actually means that I actually read it before today. There's going to be no spoilers. I'm just going to read the synopsis and to say what this book categories reaches. So The Perfect Place to Die is a historical fiction thriller horror. It does already look like that. Like, if you look at the cover, you can't tell me that that is like, oh, it's a beautiful romance. No, it's full-on thriller. Zaretta never thought she'd encounter a monster, one of the world's most notorious serial killers. She had resigned herself to a quiet life in Utah, but when her younger sister Ruby travels to Chicago during the World's Fair and disappears, Zaretta leaves home to find her. But 1890s Chicago is more dangerous and chaotic than she could ever have imagined. She doesn't know where to start until she learns of her sister's last place of employment, a mysterious hotel known as the Castle. Zaretta takes a job there hoping to learn more, and before long she realizes that this hotel isn't what it seems. Women disappear at an alarming rate, and she hears crying from the walls. Terrifying whispers follow her at night, and in the end, she finds herself up against one of the most notorious mass murders in American history, and his custom-built death trap. So, even before I read this, I already knew what serial killer they were talking about, and I was like, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. And it's not a spoiler. If you know anything about history, you know, like, that serial killer and his house. And that is all I'm going to say about it. Our next book is The Great Destroyer by Carolyn Tunn Richmond. People are saying it's The Hunger Games meets Pacific Rim, as it's set in like the 1960s during the Cold War. So it is a mashup of young adult history fiction and science fiction, plus a little bit of fantasy kind of vibes. Joe Linden grew up in a world where wars are won with the use of giant mechanical soldiers, and the nuclear bomb was never invented. Yet the Cold War still rages. Only now international rivals between democracy and communism play at the PAX Games, an Olympic-style competition that pits young pilots of mega soldiers against each other. The USSR has beaten the US in every game since its inception, and in the 1963 games, the US is desperate for a win, because it's more than just a game at the stake here. Oh god. Premier Krushkevich, I hope I pronounced that right, will be attending, and after he and President Kennedy are slated to sign a peace accord stabilizing the war in Vietnam and their relationship. Raised in her father's mecha repair shop, Jo knows more than anyone about the awesome machines and piloting. She is also the most unlikely pick for Team USA, since she's vitally an unknown fighter. So when Jo is invited at the last minute to compete, she jumps at it. This could be the last chance to save her family's home from debt collectors. When Jo arrives in DC for the games, all eyes are on her. But she's got secrets of her own. Secrets that could get her kicked out of the game. Oh my god. I already think I have an inkling, and I'm not sure, but let's see. And cost her family everything if anyone found out. As competitors start dying in the arena, it's suddenly clear that it's more than the usual PAX game, and Jo finds herself drawn in a deadly political plot with the very stake of freedom at its center. I'm not gonna lie, I hated that cover. The cover is not my favorite, but now reading that story, I'm like, okay. Also, I already have theories, even after reading this, and I haven't even read the book. I'm like, you say secrets. I have a feeling I know what these secrets could be, and I kind of want to be proven right. So, to the TBR list. Flip. Anyway, our next book is A Lesson in Vengeance. This book is very much witches, so it's magical fantasy. It's got a little bit of romance. It's LGBTQ+, so we love that. And it does have a little bit of mystery, thriller vibes in it. Felicity Morrows is back at Delaware School. Perched in the Catskills Mountain, the centuries-old ivy-covered campus was home until the tragic death of her girlfriend. Now, after a year away, she returned to graduate. She even has her old room in the Godwin house, the exclusive dormitory rumored to be haunted by the spirits of 5 Delaware students, girls that some say are witches. The Delaware 5 all died mysteriously, one after the other, right on Godwin's grounds. Witchcraft is woven in the Delaware history. The school doesn't talk about it, but the students do. In secret rooms, shadowy corners, girls gather. Before her girlfriend died, Felicity was drawn to the dark. She's determined to leave that behind her now. All Felicity wants is to focus on her senior thesis and graduate, but it's hard when Delaware's occult history is everywhere, and when the new girl won't let her forget. It's Ellis Haley's first year at Delaware, and she's already amassed a local following. A prodigy novelist at 17, Ellis is so-called method writer. She's eccentric and brilliant, and Felicity can't shake the pull she feels to her. So when Ellis asks Felicity for help researching the Delaware Five for her second book, Felicity can't say no. Given her history, Felicity is the perfect resource. And when history begins to repeat itself, Felicity will have to face the darkness in Delaware and in herself. Our next book is Wicked Little Deeds by Kat Ellis. This is a horror, thriller, mystery, contemporary kind of book. So the synopsis is, from its creepy town mascot to the story of its cursed waterfall, Burden Falls is a small town gripped with superstition. Ava Thone knows this well. Since a horrific accident she witnessed a year ago, she's been plagued by nightmares. But when someone close to her is brutally murdered and Ava is the primary suspect, she starts to wonder if the legends surrounding the town are more than fact than fiction. Whatever secrets Burden Falls is hiding, there's a killer on the loose, and they all have a vendetta against the Thorns. Girl, I would leave the town. Like, if they have a vendetta against your family, fucking leave the town. Our next book is The Dead in the Dark by Courtney Gold. So this book is a young adult horror, LGBTQ+, supernatural kind of story, following two main characters. The dark has been waiting for far too long, and it won't stay hidden any longer. Something is wrong in Snakeback, Oregon. Teenagers are disappearing, some turning up dead, the weather isn't normal, and all fingers seem to point to the TV's most popular ghost hunters who've returned to the town. Logan, daughter of TV paraspectors, has never been to Snakeback before, but the moment she and her dads arrive, she starts to get the feeling that there's more secrets buried here than they originally let on. Ashley's boyfriend was the first teen to go missing, and she felt his presence ever since. But now that the paraspectors are in town, his ghost is following her, and the only person Ashley can trust is the mysterious Logan. When Ashley and Logan team up to figure out who or what is haunting Snakeback, their investigation reveals truths about the town and their family, and themselves that neither of them are ready for. As the danger intensifies, they realize that their growing feelings for each other could be the light in the darkness. Our next book is The Wild Ones by Afiza Azad. Azad? So I really hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I'm so sorry if I'm not. So, this book is a young adult LGBTQ+, very paranormal and feminist book. It really had a lot of good elements. Meet the Wild Ones, girls who have been hurt, abandoned, and betrayed all their lives. It all began with one who was once betrayed by her mother and sold to a man in exchange for a favor. When she escapes, she runs headlong into a boy with stars in his eyes. This boy, as battered as she, tosses her a box of stars before disappearing. With the stars, she gains access to the Between, a place of pure magic and mystery. Now she collects girls just like herself, and these are the Wild Ones, who use their power to travel the world, helping the hopeless and saving others from the fate that they've suffered. Then she and the Wild Ones learn that the boy who gave them the stars is in danger. He is on the run from a powerful force within the magic world. But if he no longer is safe and free, neither are the Wild Ones. And that is a fate the Wild Ones refuse to accept ever again. So this synopsis alone already had me requesting hey, can I read this book please? And we'll talk about it later. Our next book is Like a Love Song by Gabrielle Martins. So this book is romance, young adult, contemporary, and LGBTQ+, which I didn't actually know until I just read that. It follows fake bro boyfriend, real heartbreak. Natalie is living her dream, topping the charts and setting records as a Brazilian pop star, until she's dumped spectacularly on live television. Not only is it humiliating, it could end her career. I hate that. Her PR team's desperate plan, a gorgeous yet not so fake boyfriend. Natty reluctantly agrees, but William is not what she expects. She was hoping for a fierce bad boy, not a soft-hearted British indie film star. While she finds her way to the top with a sweet and surprisingly swoon-worthy boy on her arm, she starts to fall for William and realizes that maybe she's not the biggest fake of them all. Can she reclaim her voice and her heart? The next book is As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. So I own the first 2 books in this series. And confession time, I have not read either of them. I own them, but I have not read them yet. So this is a mystery thriller young adult series, and it does have a lot of murder mystery crime vibes in it. It is the 3rd and the last book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So, Pip is haunted by the way her last investigation ended. I have no idea how it ended. Soon she'll be leaving for Cambridge University, but then another case finds her, and this time it's all about Pip. Pip is used to online death threats, but there's one that catches her eye. Someone who keeps asking, who will look for you when you're the one who disappears? And it's not just online. Pip has a stalker who knows where she lives. The police refuse to act, and then Pip finds connections between her stalker and the local serial killer. The killer has been in prison for 6 years, but Pip suspects the wrong man is behind bars. As the deadly game plays out, Pip realizes that everything in Little Kilton is finally coming full circle. If Pip doesn't find the answers this time, she will be the one who disappears. See, like, I really want to read this series, I just haven't got around to it, so, like, but I promise I'm going to read it by the end of the year, like, all 3 books. So, the next book is The Dragon Bird in the Fern by Laura Rickert. So, this book is a fantasy young adult, little bit of paranormal with lovely disability representation, because we don't have enough of that, so that's really good to see that we're getting more and more, especially in high fantasy. Okay. When an assassin kills Princess Jahara's sister, her vengeful ghost is doomed to walk their city of glittering canals, tormenting loved ones until the murderer is brought to justice. While the entire kingdom mourns, her sister's betrothed arrives and requests that the 17-year-old Jahara takes her sister's place as his bride to confirm the alliance between their countries. Child bride? Marrying the young king intended for her sister and traveling to his distant home is distressing enough, but with dyslexia and a year's of scholar struggle, Jahara abandoned of learning other languages long ago. She's terrified of life in a foreign land where she'll be unable to communicate. Oh God, girl, I don't blame you. Like, I'm from Ireland, I failed Irish. When Jahara discovers evidence that her sister's assassin comes from the king's own country, if she marries the king, Jahara can hunt the murderer and release her family from her sister's ghost, whose thirst for blood mounts every day. To save her family, Jahara must find her sister's killer before he murders her too. Oh, instantly this is getting added to the TBR. Our next book is Dangerous Play, which is a young adult contemporary sports social justice book. That's the genre. Yeah, it's a social justice kind of book. But a fierce team of girls who take back the night in an electrifying high-stakes way. Zoe has one goal: win the state field hockey championship and earn a scholarship that will get her the hell out of central New York. She and her co-captain Ava have assembled a fierce team of dedicated girls who will work hard and play by their rules. We'll already love that. But Zoe is sexually assaulted at a party and finds a new goal: make sure no girl feels unsafe again. Yes. Okay, yep. Instantly TBR. I love fun families and girls kicking ass. People just taking back against their abusers. Yes. Zoe and her teammate decide to stop playing by the rules and take justice into their own hands. Soon, the suburban town has a team of superheroes meting out punishment, but one night of vigilantism may cost Zoe her team the championship, her scholarship, and her future. Ooh. And the last book on the teen YA list is Like Other Girls by Britta Luden. So this is a young adult contemporary LGBTQ plus sports book, and it follows after getting kicked off the basketball team for a fight that was absolutely not her fault. Okay, maybe it was a little bit her fault. Mara is dying to find a new sport to play to prove to her coach she can be a team player. A lifelong football fan, Mara decides to hit the gridiron with her brother Noah and best friend Quinn, and she turns out to be a natural. But joining the team sets off a chain of events in her small Oregon town and within her family that she could never have predicted. Inspired by what we see as Mara's political statement, 4 other girls join the team. Now Mara's lumped in as one of the girls who can't throw, can't kick, doesn't know a full back from a linebacker. Complicating matters is the fact that Valentina, Mara's crush, is one of the new players, as is Carly, Mara's nemesis, the girl Mara fought with when she was kicked off the basketball team. Okay, I'm adding this to my TBR because I really hope it does, like, do the switch around where, like, you stop judging, like, other people, like, you stop saying, like, I'm not one of those girls, because I hate when those books promise those, and then they fail utterly, and you're like, where was this, don't judge other girls, or don't judge other people in your gender, or don't do gender stereotypes. Interested in this, 100%. We're on to our next one, which is our fiction, romance, sci-fi. So I only actually have one book that got released today, and it's actually from our romance section. This book is called If the Shoe Fits. Cinderella vibes, instantly. It's actually the first in a series called Meant to Be, and it's a romance, contemporary, adult novel. We also have beautiful body positivity and plus-size representation. Again, something we need more of. But after just graduating with a degree in shoe design and trying to get her feet on the ground, Cindy is working for her stepmother, who happens to be the executive producer of America's favorite reality show, Before Midnight. When a spot on the show needs filling ASAP, Cindy volunteers, hoping it might help jumpstart her fashion career, or at least give her something to do while her peers land jobs in the world of high fashion. Turns out being the only plus-size woman on a reality dating competition makes a splash, and soon Cindy becomes a body positivity icon for women everywhere. What she doesn't expect, that she may just find inspiration and love in the process. Ultimately, Cindy learns that if the shoe doesn't fit, maybe it's time to design your own. Yes, like, it's already on my TBR list. I love all of the concepts I ever hear about all of her books. And that is a wrap on New Book Tuesday, folks. If you want to see any of the books that I was able to read before today, I will be doing a review later on, so keep your eyes on my channel. You can do that by either liking or subscribing, but you can always check back in. I'm always going to be here. I hope you were able to find a book that maybe you would like to read, and enjoy New Book Tuesday, folks.